Some people like to say history doesn't repeat itself, but as a 49ers fan, I'm not so convinced.
The NFL, Christian McCaffrey, a limited participant in practice on Thursday while dealing with a calf issue.
You heard that right. I didn't pull out some old footage. This is recent footage describing Christian McCaffrey's recent calf injury nonetheless, the same type of injury he had headed into week 1 last year. While Christian McCaffrey has been healthy this entire offseason, the concern is recently he did injure something because only a couple of days ago he was a full participant, but now he's limited. Unlike a lot of fantasy owners though, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan seem prepared for this type of injury, as recently they picked up B-Rob, who a lot of people think of as just a power back, but he's also a pretty great wide receiver. So in this video, I wanted to go over why I think a lot of people don't realize San Francisco is already prepared for Christian McCaffrey missing time with Brian Robinson, and why I think he's the perfect replacement if he does miss extended time, by going over his most recent film, what he does well, what he struggles with, and what we can expect out of him headed into the season. Initially, to start out, rather than speaking about him as just a back, where I wanted to talk about Robinson is his effect on the passing game, because he truly is a deadly slot wide receiver. To really illustrate this point, going against the Cardinals on this play, he's going to be running a drag pattern, but initially I love how he fakes the block to draw a boot to Baker and then breaks hard across the field. And you can see how this truly creates a ton of separation, maybe 3 or 4 yards, and even with Baker responding nicely on this play, Robinson is able to go up and make the contested grab. Another thing about Robinson as a wide receiver, because he is such a great back, he often breaks the first tackle. Here going against the Buccaneers, for instance, he's running a drag pattern, and with this defender closing in quickly, he's able to break his tackle, and then he does a great job of navigating the open space, breaking the second tackle, and almost finds his way in for a touchdown here. Robinson's ability to go out, make these catches, and break tackles like Christian McCaffrey also means he's a perfect candidate for screens. Here going against the Bears, for example, as a slot wide receiver, he does a nice job of selling it, faking the block on 99, making the catch, and then immediately, Robinson is doing an excellent job of setting up his running lanes, even throwing one of his offensive linemen into a defender. To further highlight this point, running a screen on the Saints, Robinson immediately is looking to set up the safety closing in hard by breaking out like he's going to try to bounce it outside on the team, and as soon as the safety commits there, he cuts it back hard inwards, which allows him to pick up an additional couple yards. As impressive as Robinson is at going out and getting these screens and making big plays as a wide receiver, the fact is he's probably going to be more valuable as a check down option, especially when Brock Purdy is under duress, which may happen a lot this year under this offensive line. And even if Kyle Shanahan right now is playing some 3D chess, placing Christian McCaffrey on the injured list, and he's actually fine, the fact is having Brian Robinson as a receiving back will be invaluable for this offense, because you could fake off to Christian McCaffrey and then dump off to Robinson on the screen. Imagine the amount of misdirection that would cause. Outside of Robinson's ability as a receiving back, over the last 3 years for the Commanders, I think he's also showcased his ability to be a true bell cow for a team. And the thing is, he's only improving year in and year out. To start his career, for instance, in 2022, he only averaged 3.9 yards a carry, but last year he averaged 4.3 yards a carry, had a career best 799 rushing yards, and also 8 touchdowns, another career best. Where Robinson probably has improved the most in my opinion has been his vision. To really illustrate this point, here going against the Giants, you can see how quickly this defensive tackle is able to make his way into the backfield, as well as the Giants sending this backer on the blitz, but Robinson is able to identify both of these players, link together 2 cuts, and quickly finds his way up to the second level. And even though he's not the fastest back, if you give him this amount of daylight to work with, he's definitely going to hurt your team. Directly tied to Robinson's vision is his ability to cut it back on the defense because of his insane change of direction. Here on this little inside zone, for instance, he's pushing this outside gap hard, which causes his safety to come up and bite, as well as his linebacker starting to flow across the field that direction. And as soon as Robinson sees this, he knows he's won this play. So he puts his foot in the ground, it shoots across the field, it jukes out this linebacker, and I love how he's always falling forward for an additional couple of yards every single play. To further highlight just how insane his change of direction is, here going against the Lions, running this little outside zone play, he's quickly able to identify 46 over pursuing so quickly stops on the dime, cuts it all the way back towards the teeth of this defense, and picks up a massive gain. Another thing about Robinson I don't think a lot of people give him credit for is just how smart of a player he is. Here going against the Cardinals, for instance, he notices Budda Baker coming on the blitz, so rather than shooting the open gap, he presses Budda Baker's gap, gets him to commit there, and then cuts back hard on the defense. In a similar way, when you're watching Robinson's footwork, I don't think a lot of people give him enough credit because he does an excellent job of navigating open spaces, especially tight spaces like here going against the Giants. He's able to jump through this little gap in this offensive line. It kind of reminds me of Frank Gore. And like I was saying, even if Christian McCaffrey is healthy and this is all just some 3D chess by Kyle Shanahan, I still think Robinson can be extremely effective in this offense, especially as a power back. To really illustrate this point, on this play the Commanders are running a fake jet sweep with Robinson getting the inside handoff, and here he does an excellent job of not only breaking 93's tackle but also the cornerback's tackle, and somehow he's actually accelerating while doing all this, gets up to full speed and hurts this defense for a massive gain. And as a power back for the 49ers, I love what this does to the defense, not just on that play where he picks up maybe 1 or 2 more yards, but also throughout the game. You'll see throughout the game, for instance, cornerbacks no longer wanting to come up and tackle Robinson because they know they're going to get laid out. The final aspect of Robinson's running game I wanted to talk about is the versatility he should offer San Francisco. Last year for the Commanders, not only did he line up as a wide receiver, a running back, but he also got direct quarterback snaps and even was pretty effective on draws. But even with all these positives to Robinson's game, there are some clear areas of concern in my opinion, with one of the most notable being the way he runs. He runs pretty upright, which may expose himself to more injuries, and he even dealt with 3 games missed last year due to injuries. Robinson will also have to prove that he can clean up his fumbling issues, as over the course of 3 years, he's already fumbled it 8 times, losing 4 of those, which definitely needs to improve headed over to San Francisco. It's also worth noting, while we did see Robinson break free for several big runs in this video, he's not the fastest back, running his 40-yard dash in 4.53 seconds, so you will see defenders chase him down. Still though, even with these areas of concern, I think Robinson is the perfect back to replace Christian McCaffrey if he is out for an extended period of time like he was last year, and probably even a better replacement than a player like Jordan Mason because of his ability as a pass catcher. And even if Christian McCaffrey is healthy and ready to start week 1, I think Kyle Shanahan should do everything in his power to rotate these backs so each one can remain healthy throughout the season and potentially avoid any serious injury to both of these players. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts on Christian McCaffrey's most recent calf injury that just popped up, potentially putting him in jeopardy for week 1, as well as his potential replacement in Brian Robinson. And now, I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think a player like Brian Robinson can replace Christian McCaffrey at least for a couple of weeks, or do you think San Francisco's offense will struggle a lot this year? It would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video, if you could go ahead and like and subscribe. It truly helps out the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.